We are just hours away from the polls opening and voters picking which Democrat and which Republican will face off this fall in the race for governor. On both sides, the polls have been all over the place. Tonight, the candidates making one last pitch to voters. On the Democratic side, former Miami Beach Mayor Phil Levine has climbed back within points of the lead, and he joins us now by Skype from Miami Beach. Mayor, it is the eve of the primary, and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling very, very good. We've been all over the entire state. Literally, we go from the top to the middle to the bottom. People are very, very excited. And I got to tell you, what they want is somebody with experience, someone who knows how to get things done. And I believe as a successful entrepreneur and as a two-term mayor, I bring that to the table. So I'm very excited.
Depending on which poll you are looking at, either you have a small lead or you're behind by a couple of points. Your rival Gwen Graham was just in Sarasota within the last hour, making her closing appeal to voters on the Sun Coast. If I were to ask you, what is the one big policy difference between you and Congresswoman Graham, what would that be?
I don't know if it's a policy difference. It's about who has the experience of actually getting things done. Who can fight Donald Trump? Because the bottom line is the White House in this election. So the last 4 Democratic nominees for governor all share something in common. They all lost. We need to put someone on the field who actually can fight the White House because they're backing little Ron DeSantis. I call him Radical Ron, Donald Trump's little mini me. So we need to make sure we have somebody who can do it. I have fought Donald Trump for a year and a half of my life. I did it for Hillary Clinton on every TV network in the country. And I don't talk about raising the minimum living wage. I raise the minimum living wage. I don't talk about what I'll do for the environment because I actually became the greatest environmental record by getting the Officer of the Legion of Honor from the President of France for our work on sea level rise. We reformed the police department. So I think it's not about policy. It's who can hit the ground running and beat the Republican nominee. And that combination is Donald Trump and probably Radical Ron DeSantis.
But as you know, the Suncoast, Sarasota, and Manatee counties is a heavily Republican area. So what would you say, should you win this primary, to reach out to Republican voters around here who may not be happy with the Republican nominee, or at least want to know what you're all about how would you improve the state for them and not the same old kind of Democratic candidacy that we've seen in the past?
Because I have a very different journey in my life. I started from nothing. I lived the American dream, and I built some wonderful companies in the cruise ship industry. And I think Republicans like somebody that doesn't come to the table with just a government background. Because I actually believe government's the worst background for government. And I think a lot of Republicans hear that, they understand it. I'm pro-people, and I'm pro-business. I'm not right, I'm not left, I'm forward. I'm honored to be running as a Democrat, but before I'm a Democrat, I'm an American, and I don't believe anyone has a monopoly on good ideas, not Republicans, Democrats, or independents.
Let me ask you this question, because we have been dealing with red tide in ways that we have not seen for many years around here. Red tide and also the green slime from Lake Okeechobee. Do you blame the governor and state government for the situation that we are now dealing with on the Suncoast?
Absolutely, 100%. Can you imagine, when I became mayor, we were filling up with water. I didn't get swept into office. I got floated into office. I attacked sea level rise and invested $500 million to raise our roads, put in pumps, raise our seawalls. If I was the governor, 8 years ago, you had this problem. He has not focused on it because he doesn't care. He's been subject to special interest, which is the agricultural interest, the sugar industry around Lake Okeechobee. So all of a sudden now he's running for Senate and he's become a born-again environmentalist. I couldn't sleep at night if I didn't attack this problem and figure out how do we fix it. I have some great ideas of how we're going to do it, but the one thing I won't do is nothing. I will take action.
Well, we are looking for answers here. We're talking to Moat Marine Labs. We're talking about the causes of both the red tide and the green slime.
Sure.
Give me one idea that you would have to at least try to mitigate it.
I can give you a few ideas. Well, first of all, why wouldn't we invest millions of dollars with our universities immediately to research it and figure out why it's getting worse? Number 2, we know that climate change and the heating of the planet is causing this to get worse. Why wouldn't we actually adhere to the climate change and do the right thing? Why wouldn't we change those political cronies that are on those water management boards and put environmentalists, ecologists, and scientists? Why wouldn't we begin funding the Department of Environmental Protection to start monitoring our water, as opposed to butchering it and defunding it and making the Department of Environmental Exploitation? There are so many things we could do immediately, but this governor has not taken action. If I'm governor, one thing I'll promise you is I will take action.
Mayor Levine, we have just a couple of seconds left. It has been a tumultuous Democratic primary. Are you kind of surprised about how nasty it has gotten from time to time between you and some of the other candidates?
Well, you know what? It really hasn't. You know, I got to say, most of the candidates have been respectful. We had the one bully billionaire from Palm Beach who's kind of like pretty much dropped out of the race already because, you know, he thought fighting Donald Trump was passing the Grey Poupon across the table at his country club, which I call Kremlin by the Sea. So otherwise, I think it's been very civil. We have great candidates, and I believe the Democratic Party is going to create a blue wave which will wipe out that red tide.
Okay, Mayor Levine, good luck tomorrow. We appreciate you joining us tonight.